What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of 49ers Coast to Coast. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn, Jason Aponte. This show is going to be a little bit different. Normally, I bring Jason on, I bring a guest on, and I go through the topics like it's the green room at NBC. But today, Jason has allowed me to let him fly blind. I haven't told him over. I'm going to ask him. Not that I'm going to ask him anything difficult. I just think it'd be fun to get some candid reactions. So, Jason, thank you.
Thank you, Grant. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what these questions are, honestly. I have a feeling that I'm going to have reasonable takes, but also you're going to put me on the spot and make me think a little bit more. So that's good. I want to be on my feet. So
I'll just say before I get started, I wouldn't do this for you if I didn't have 100% confidence that you could knock this out of the park. The reason I'm doing this is because I have the utmost confidence in your ability to think on your feet. In fact, I think it's one of the things you do best.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. I appreciate that. That's high praise from you. So let's do it.
All right. So John Lynch has been setting the record straight the last few weeks. There's been a lot of narratives about how the Niners, went about getting to the decision of drafting Trey Lance. A lot of it painted a picture of a fractured organization, or at least an organization that couldn't come to a consensus until the 11th hour. He's been going around saying that that's basically not true, but he's now been going off into different tangents. He recently said that, yes, he called up the Packers and inquired about trading that number 3 pick for Aaron Rodgers. They turned him down, and he says now he's really happy that they turned him down. Do you buy or sell that the Niners made an inquiry and were happy that the Packers rebuffed them?
I think they absolutely inquired. Now, whether they're happy or not, I'm not certain about that. That one's a little bit tough for me to believe because it's funny to me. It's draft night. You find out that Aaron Rodgers is available, and instead of remember it was Trey Lance the entire time. That's what I learned from his appearance on the.
That's what we learned. Yeah.
So if it was Trey Lance the entire time, why call it Aaron Rodgers right then?
Why?
What's
the point?
What? So right. So were you second guessing that? See, this is the part that kind of, I guess, conspiracy theory time. Yeah, it's not adding up.
Add up.
A lot of this stuff doesn't add up. So when you call, it's almost like, let's say there's a girl who comes across on the market that you give her a shot, you give her a call, and she turns you down, and you're just like, yeah, well, whatever. I
wasn't really trying to holler,
and I'm not.
I was just saying hello.
No.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not even interested. Like I was just saying, what's up?
Something about that doesn't really add up for me. So if you were happy about Trey Lance being there, then you wouldn't have to call on Aaron Rodgers because.
It's like, yo, I saw that girl at the bar and I walked over and tried to get her a drink, but I'm really happy that she said no because I'm trying to save $15. Like, no,
that's man. Right. So you come back to your friends.
You're not happy.
You come back to your friends after the beautiful woman rebuffs you, and you say she had a big nose anyway, bro.
She was business class anyway, man. She was business class. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not certain how much I put stock into anything that's being said right now. Some of the things, if you really sit there and pick it apart, some of it doesn't add up. Some of it does, some of it doesn't. So, I mean, I'm not in the business of doing all that right now at this point because it is what it is. Who cares how they got there? That's where they're at right now.
So, I wanted to start with this because I wanted to make it clear that although John Lynch is a reputable person and we respect his integrity, that it's his job to set a narrative right now. It doesn't have to be the truth. It has to make the 49ers look their best. And it's fair to question certain things like when he says, yes, we made an inquiry and we were happy when we got turned down. Dude, okay, you can say stuff like that, but we're allowed to be like, yo, that doesn't make sense, John. A guy like you went to Stanford, that just doesn't make sense. So that's the backdrop of these line of questioning. So since we feel like it was Trey Lance the whole time and no one but Trey Lance isn't really believable, let's come back to the Justin Fields thing right now. Do you think he ever was in the conversation for the 49ers? Do they ever seriously consider Justin Fields, in your opinion?
I have no idea. From everything that they're saying, it doesn't sound like it. Literally, you're leaving Justin Fields' pro day and Kyle Shanahan's drawing up plays for Trey Lance, not even saying, man, that was impressive. Yeah. So
why?
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, it's hard for me to speculate on things like that. But when you hear what is being said, it seems like they never were in on Justin Fields. Just because I wanted Justin Fields doesn't mean that they had to consider it. So that's it. It wasn't. Remember, when I was predicting Justin Fields, it wasn't insider information, anything that I knew. It's just what I thought was going to happen.
Of course.
I got wrapped up in the QB collective stuff, full straight on tinfoil hat type stuff. But
that's fine. From
all
like half the world did. Yeah.
Right. From all indications, everything that they've been saying afterwards doesn't seem like he ever was in the conversation. And for me, that's interesting. The only thing that I'm going to say is we're going to find out much more about this process years down the line. This is going to come out little by little, because Trey Lance is going to be held up not only to Jimmy Garoppolo's standard right now at this point, but everyone's going to compare Trey Lance to Mac, to Justin Fields, because they were all on the board at 3. So this is going to be ongoing. And I have a feeling we're not done finding out the exact process. And someone's going to write a book saying, this is what really happened. I walked in there and said, it's funny. Here's how I could see it happening. If Justin Fields turns out to be what I think he's going to be and is a dominant quarterback, then I think we're going to see a little bit of hedging later on. Well, I wanted Justin Fields. Nobody wanted to listen to me. That's what
Peters really liked him, apparently.
Peters is gonna write a book like I tried to tell him, and they didn't want to know. So I think that we're not done learning about this process, and it's so fascinating. We're gonna continue to find out little by little, I guess, whatever it is that they want to leak out. But I think that later on, we're really gonna find out what really happened with this process. So it's hard to speculate whether Justin Fields was in the conversation. From all indications and everything that's being said, he wasn't.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like no one was really reporting that he ever was. There was never any information. I'm hearing that he's being considered. In fact, there were people saying like Mike Lombardi, look, he's not in the conversation.
He got that right at least.
Yeah, he did. And like what was interesting was that basically a lot of smart people were like, well, he freaking should be. How could he not be? Basically, that was the Justin Field position. How could he not be in the conversation? Which is a very, very valid point. Why do you think I know it's impossible to say, but what turned the Niners off to this guy?
I don't know, honestly.
Because it may not be right.
And I think it's concerning. That's what I was about to say. So if we do find out later on that Justin Fields was absolutely not a part of this process at all, if you want to have them all together, Mac, Justin, and Trey, and you got to your decision of Trey, cool. But for you to take Justin Fields completely out of the conversation, even after the pro day, why? And that's concerning to me. How much did you watch him? How much did you evaluate him?
Detail, hold on real quick. Yeah. That detail of Kyle Shanahan going straight to Trey Lance, drawing up plays after leaving Ohio State. What if Trey Lance is good and Justin Fields is great? That's a detail that didn't need to get out there. It may not be true and makes you look bad. It makes you, again, look like you didn't respect the process. You just made up your mind about a kid and you know what I mean?
One more thing. Justin Fields heard that. If you already thought he had a chip on his shoulder, Halloween, that man's coming for blood in Chicago when they play the 49ers, especially hearing that. The thing about it is this. If Justin Fields had a Mac Jones-like pro day where he's air-milling throws, underthrowing guys, okay. Everything that we saw, Justin Fields was impressive. He did everything that they wanted to do. He made all these crazy throws. Now, again, he's throwing against air. None of that stuff should have changed the process, but it almost seems like Justin Fields bombed his pro day and they just got on the plane and said, okay, we're on the Trey because he was so bad at this point. It's baffling. It's a little bit baffling. And if he was,
it sounds like they had their mind made up. It sounds like they had their mind made up, not about Trey, but about Justin.
Not being
Justin. That's a detail that didn't need to get out there because Justin Fields could be great. And then once again, you look unprofessional. Grandpa Pat Dooley says, give the kid time. Of course they'd be interested in Aaron Rodgers. It's like trading Nelly for Lil Wayne. Hey, I like Nelly. Nelly had some hits.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I need time to marinate on that Nelly Lil Wayne one a little bit just before we get to that. But I would just say it's a little bit more concerning. Even if you, like I said, if you have all three in your sights and you choose one, whether you choose Mac, you choose Justin, or you choose Trey Lance, cool. But you went through all three of them. Again, it almost feels negligent to not look at Justin Fields. So I don't know. We're going to find out a lot more about this as it goes along because this is, again, not going to be just a talking point for 49ers media. NFL media is going to be all over this the entire season. What happens with Jimmy, what happens with Trey, and Trey's career is going to be held up against Justin Fields and against Mac Jones his entire career as well too. So we're not done talking about this in any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, more questions you're not prepared for. Now that we've seen Trey Lance and we see that the scouting report is accurate, his strengths are legit, and his weakness is the accuracy thing, and that's really a weakness that Justin Fields doesn't have. His accuracy, it's charted. It's just way better. Chris Sims has issues with his mechanics, but you can't knock his accuracy, really. Given what we know now, are you feeling like Justin Fields should have been the pick at 3? It's okay. I know it's not the most popular thing to say among Niner fans, but if you feel it, you can say it.
I've always felt that was the
Okay.
pick, and that's always what I thought it was. He's
Okay.
a lot more pro ready right away, ready to go. I believed in Trey at this
Okay.
point. I don't want to overreact to one
Fair.
OTA performance or anything like that, but I always had that
because
feeling.
again, I don't think he struggled at OTA. I just thought it was an indication of where he stands. He needs some refinement. He's not particularly ready, and I think clearly Justin Fields is more ready.
Again, it's just my opinion. Just because I wanted Justin Fields doesn't mean anything. You know, I saw a guy who had toughness, was able to stand in there and take hits and things like that. And when you pair him with what Kyle Shanahan can do, I thought it was a natural fit. A guy who could start day one. It looks like that's probably what's going to happen in Chicago unless Matt Nagy's a complete. Yeah. Unless Matt Nagy really wants to get fired, he'll start Andy Dalton first before he starts Justin Fields. But I'll say it. I wanted Justin Fields. I'm not going to change course on that. Just because, look, and I love Trey Lance, and I'm happy that he's the pick as well, too. Again, we talked about it. It's just we didn't want Mac at 3. But, I think they should have drafted Justin Fields. But does that mean that Justin Fields is going to be better than Trey Lance? No. But that's what I think, and that's what I thought at the time. So it's hard for me to backtrack. I can't go as hard as I did for Justin Fields that long and now turn around and change my answer. So if I got to stand in a box and take the heat for this one, cool. But I'm also not going to act like I'm a flip-flopper or anything like that when it comes to it, because I not only predicted that I thought it was going to be Justin Fields, I put some money on it as well, too. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think they should have took him, you know, from my pockets. Yeah, for my pockets and for – and because of what I thought he could bring to this team immediately.
I mean, it's just going to be very interesting. They're similar prospects. I mean, I think if you graded them, could put a number, their number could be they could both be a 92, exactly the same number, but their weaknesses are a little different. We've talked about it ad nauseum. With Trey, it's the accuracy. With Justin Fields, it could be the decision making, and we don't know which one is correctable. It could be neither. It could be both. They both could end up being studs. They both could end up being disappointments. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe Justin Fields ends up being really, really careful with the football and doesn't commit a bunch of turnovers. And Trey Lance is a career 58% completion percentage, and Fields is the one who's better. I have no idea. It's just, I think it's an interesting topic because Lance has to be better than him. You know, Lance. There's a lot of. We'll talk about that a little bit, but
no matter who the pick was, he had to be better than whoever was on the board. Had to be. Doesn't matter. So that's another thing.
All right. Vish just tweeted this out. I don't know if you heard it. It was about a minute clip. Robert Saleh went on Sean McVay's podcast.
Sean McVay and Peter Schrager.
Yeah.
Peter Schrager, right? Mm-hmm.
And so they're talking about, you know, the boilerplate questions about Zach Wilson, and they say, you know, what do you like about Zach Wilson? And Saleh says, well, the way we felt about it was going through the process. There were 2 guys in this draft who were just head and shoulders above the rest. And then, you know how Saleh typically, as he walks it back, well, not head and shoulders, but you know what I mean. Because, hey, man, what are you saying? You're saying that you felt your guy was way better than Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, everyone. And basically what you're saying is we're surprised the 49ers went up to number 3 considering we felt there's a huge drop-off. So when you hear Robert Saleh say that, does that concern you as a 49er fan?
Not really. I mean, okay. I think the worst kept secret in the NFL draft was who was going to be going 1 and 2. It really didn't matter. I don't think it really mattered who the coach was at this point. I think that the Jets ownership knew exactly who they wanted to push in front of their fans and who they were going for, and that was Zach Wilson. It could have been any coach. If Todd Bowles was still there, they probably would have taken Zach Wilson. So I don't really think same. If it was Gase, the same thing. It's really, I really feel like, okay, Saleh gets the job. They let him know, hey, you're going to be in charge of personnel and things like that. But at 2, you're taking Zach Wilson.
Yes.
And why wouldn't he be excited about that? Anybody would say, okay, that's cool. You know, no problem. I'll do that. And then they nailed the rest of the draft. But I feel like management, no matter who the coach would have been, it was going to be Zach regardless, just because of what we know about management. You know, I don't want to get too far into what it is that they do outside of football. But yes, when you hear Steve Young say the Jets have completely courted Zach Wilson, I don't think that had to do. If Saleh didn't walk in and say, all right, we need to take Zach Wilson, like I said, the Jets ownership would have taken him regardless, whoever what the coach was, and Saleh was just fine with it.
And so you can see why there was so much confusion when the Niners traded up to 3, because I think the whole league was looking at it as like a 2-player top tier. And that's why when you would read the mock drafts, everyone said Lawrence 1, Wilson 2, and then at number 3, it could have been Lance, Fields, Jones, Pitts, Sewell. I mean, there was no consensus, which pretty much tells you that it's a drop off.
Everybody's board is different.
So it's like, who you're moving up to 3 for who? We don't even know if there's. Yeah. So I think it's interesting to think that Saleh and Kyle Shanahan potentially have a total difference of opinion here. And that Saleh could have potentially been on the 49ers, evaluating the same quarterbacks, different conclusion, and would have to just be totally silent about it. Hey, chain of command, I'm the defensive coordinator. It's my job to shut the hell up. But now he's a head coach, and he really, in a diplomatic way, said, I still don't understand what the 49ers did. That's what he said.
Yeah, honestly. And again, that's why I said this process and this draft is going to be dissected and analyzed for years. This is not going away anytime soon. So
Grandpa Pat Dooley says Lance is the better quarterback. Even Elway struggled. I see a lot of hand wringing in the chats right now, like Grant's calling him a bust. I am not calling him a bust. I just feel like it's fun to revisit these discussions now that we have a little bit of data. No one's saying the Niners made the wrong move, but it's fair to question it again because these are the questions that are going to be popping up until this guy wins a Super Bowl or goes to a Pro Bowl or something like that because he can't just be good. That's the problem. He can't just be good. He has to be elite. That's the position they put him in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like I said, he's going to have to deal with those comparisons for the rest of his career. So is Justin Fields. So is Mac Jones. That's what made this all so interesting. All those guys are going to be compared to each other because there was 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. So they're all going to be and as much smoke as there was around Mac Jones, that's never going to go away. Did you see Kendrick Bourne today said that he realized that Mac Jones had more swag than he ever thought?
Yep. Hey, I'm telling you, man, Mac Jones should look great in 7-on-7 though. And that's what people are doing right now. So he should look great in that. That's all I'm saying. Trey Lance, this is going to be where he struggles of all the different settings. But this is a nice little segue to what I'm thinking here. Again, it's not normally you draft a quarterback at number 3 and he's good. That's okay. He's the 3rd quarterback in the draft. You really expect him to be great? Well, the Niners kind of planted their flag trading up that high, being like, nah, man, this guy's going to be better than good. Y'all don't know. This guy's going to be great. Given that, the trade up, and the fact that you're taking over for a quarterback who is liked by his teammates and has had success in the field, even though he gets hurt, does Trey Lance have the most pressure of all the quarterbacks from this draft class?
Yes. Look where he was drafted. First of all, they moved up. They moved up to go get him. Yep. And it's the San Francisco freaking 49ers. Joe Montana is
going to have an opinion. Steve Young's going to have an opinion.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Yep. He absolutely has all the pressure. Again, here's the reason that there's a lot more pressure. Let's say the 49ers won 4 games. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. If the 49ers had won 4 games. Yeah.
Sorry, Bueller. My bad.
No, you're good. If they won 4 games and they were at 3 on their own volition and they took Trey Lance, no issue.
Yeah.
They moved up and sent the farm to 3.
Yeah.
That's the issue. If they were there at 3 and didn't spend any first-round picks on it, then you know what? You're playing with house money at that point, and you identify Trey Lance. Good for you. Cool.
Yeah.
But moving up puts the pressure on him. And then you have to think about Trey and then Fields and then Mac. So, yes, he has the most pressure because this team is built to win now. This isn't a horrible team that he's going to have to – where people are going to give him time to, grow. Now he's going to have to step right in and immediately lead the charge.
Jimmy isn't bad. Jimmy isn't good enough, but Jimmy is not bad. Jimmy does win, as he says. His quarterback rating is above average. Like Trey can't just come in and learn on the job and be like, well, we can take a step back to take 2 steps forward. No, man, you got to like have a Colin Kaepernick debut. You got to hit the ground running when it's time. Man, that's what I mean. That's another reason why I feel like when I see him sail a pass or 2, it's like, think about how much pressure he's under right now. He's 21. Imagine he's got to be nervous. So I think it's fair to like. I'm trying not to overanalyze him, man. There's a ton of freaking pressure on this kid. It's unreal.
He would have way less pressure on him if the 49ers were at 3 because they won 4 games. That's it. Honestly, he really would. But when you make that power move from 12 to 3, and Kyle Shanahan is now allowed to get his guy for the first time, yes, all of that stuff makes you the most pressure. You know who has the least amount of pressure? Justin Fields. He dipped, and finally at 11, now the Bears come calling. He is under the least amount of pressure. He's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. It's not like he went. If he went at 3, then he would have the most pressure. But the problem is when you move up to 3, no matter who you select, they're going to be under the most pressure. And this is one of the richest quarterback history laden teams ever.
And if he doesn't start right away, people are gonna be. I mean, they're not gonna forget about him. He'll be under the microscope. Where the hell is the number 3 pick that they traded up for? And if he does start right away and he's not great, he'll be under the microscope nationally.
Let me say this as well. I think that Trey Lance is equipped to make this happen. He's very level-headed. He seems like he's very much in charge of things. So you know what? He can airmail a pass here and there. I think he's ready to take all of this on. I think he understands all of that. The kid's very smart. This isn't something that's lost upon him. He's not walking in saying, "Oh, I'm good." No, I'm here with the San Francisco 49ers, who have some of the richest history when it comes to quarterbacks. They moved up to 3. He understands all those things. So he understands what he's under. So it's not like it's going to be a shock to him in any way.
Jeremy says, so Jimmy balls out the next 2 years and gets the chip. Lance comes in after and balls even better. Joe Steve era remastered? Perhaps.
I mean,
if it goes down like that.
Perhaps he's got to win 2 times before we start calling him anywhere near Joe.
Yeah, remastered. Man, that's tough. Raymond Martinez Jr., what's up, Raymond, says, listening to Alex Smith made me feel better about Lance. He spoke about how Mahomes stood out in games, and that's where he saw how special he can be. Yeah, same thing's going to be with Lance. He's going to stand out in games. That's how it was with Kaepernick, too. Kaepernick never really challenged Smith in practices, but that's practice. Practice football is a different sport. It's a totally different sport. So, yeah. Good call.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. All right. Last question you're not prepared for. Actually, there's 2 more.
Okay.
Should the Niners have stayed at 12?
So this is in hindsight.
Yeah.
Justin Fields falls to 11.
Yeah.
Probably could have had Mac Jones
at 15. Honestly, if they had taken Mac Jones at 12, Niner fans would be overwhelmingly positive about the selection. Overwhelmingly.
No one would be mad at that. Even me. Again, it was never anti-Mac. I had a guy yelling at me again on Twitter. It was never anti-Mac. It was anti-Mac at 3.
Trade up. Yeah, trading up for Mac. Trading up for Mac. It's like, wait, you can't tell me that Mac Jones is worth 3 first-round picks. He doesn't have the upside. Trey Lance might. Justin Fields might. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my thing. So you stay at 12. Who knows how the board shakes out? You get a little aggressive. You want to move up 1 or 2 spots. It doesn't cost you as much to get a Justin Fields or a Mac Jones. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if they should, because I'm not going to speculate on that, because I really believe that great things are ahead for Trey Lance, and I think that he is really going to be the next guy for this team. But, man, that's interesting to stay at 12, because you could have had those quarterbacks. And then think about this, all those first-round picks. So let's say the 49ers do end up running into January, late January. That pick is 28, 29, 30, 31. Those picks are still valuable. They are. Yeah. So, again, when you mortgage those first-round picks, Trey Lance has to hit. He has to hit, honestly, because now, even with the Julio Jones thing, Julio Jones would be a Niner right now if they didn't move up to 3. Be done. Done and done. It would be done and done. And now if you really want to bring Julio Jones in, you really are going to have to mortgage a 2nd-round pick or a 3rd-round pick, which those are valuable, and that literally pushes the chips to the middle of the table. So it is an interesting discussion. If they stick at 12, they still could have had one of these guys, and they still could be in a position to compete. But I'm going to trust Kyle Shanahan. I'm going to trust John Lynch. If they believe that this was the right move, then let's ride. And I think that the kid has a bright future.
It's like a month after the trade. It was so exciting they did it. We spent a month talking about who should they take. But I don't think ultimately that move will be decided by whether they took the right person. The move will be judged by whether they should have made it at all. And it wasn't fun to talk about afterward. Like, should they have done this? Because it was very exciting and they were getting a lot of hits and I liked it too. But ultimately, when we look back 2 years ago, be like, hey, man, should they have done that? Really, honestly, people didn't look at it that way because it's John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and people respect them. But let's say Matt Nagy did the same thing, moved from 12 to 3 to take the 3rd quarterback in what's perceived as a 2-quarterback draft. Oh my God, he would be already. He wouldn't have a chance, man. They would have written him off already. So the fact that the Niners haven't gotten that treatment shows how much respect they get. But honestly, if you take them out of it and just look at it objectively, a team traded up from 12 to 3 to take. Whoa. That's wow.
Look at how Philly probably looks at their Carson Wentz move.
Yeah.
Should they have sent all those picks for Carson Wentz for him to go as quickly as they did? And obviously, this is years of data. So we're not talking about something that just happened.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what this will be. It's not about whether it was the right pick at 3. It's should you have gone to 3. So I agree with that 100%. And when you look at but here's the thing. Sitting at 12, that doesn't guarantee that those guys sit there. Justin Fields, Matt Jones, because people understand that you might be in the business of looking for them. Yeah, exactly. So again, it's easy to say sitting at 12 allows you to get Justin Fields or Matt Jones. We have no way of knowing that.
If the Niners stay at 12, maybe the Patriots move up to 10.
Exactly, because they have to get in front of them to get their guy. Exactly. And someone moves in front of the Niners to take Justin Fields. And now you're at 12, and now what are you doing? You're taking a cornerback. You're taking Good point. So I mean, we just don't know. But that's what's going to make this discussion so interesting going forward.
Last thing I want to mention, I wanted to put this in the section about quarterbacks with pressure, but quarterbacks who don't have pressure, quarterbacks who went to great spots, the way it fell, I loved Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond. Those two fell to the 3rd round. So they're in great spots. Like if they suck, no one cares. It's okay. No one cares. If they're great, those teams are geniuses. And then to me, I feel like they both went to the perfect spot for them. Trask can't move. What better place than with Bruce Arians, man? Arians doesn't care about pocket movement. He just wants you to throw it down the field from the pocket. Perfect for Trask. And then Mond, what better place than with Gary Kubiak running bootlegs all day? Perfect, man. Good for them. No pressure, great situations. I'm happy for them.
Same thing with Davis Mills too, going to Houston. Honestly, I think you're going to see him a lot quicker than people think. I know that Tyrod Taylor's there, so Tyrod Taylor's going to start 4 games, and then Davis Mills is going to take over. It's just such his life. It's the same thing with Fitzpatrick as well too. But I agree with you in the same point that Kellen Mond and those guys, they have no pressure because they fell to the 3rd, and they did fall in good spots. But these guys, all those guys that got taken in the 1st round, I mean, aside from Zach, I think Zach and Trevor, they're not really going to be under pressure.
Yeah,
Zach's going to be under pressure because the Jets fans hate life and everything is honestly, for real. Like, honestly, I was talking with Jets fans while we were in Cleveland, asking them, like, how do you feel? Literally, people were like, yeah, Zach's cool, but probably going to mess up and be terrible. Wait, what? Like, why are you guys talking about that? So
we're the Jets.
That's different. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what they said. Yeah. They're like, we're the Jets. And
it's like being a Browns fan, although Browns seem to have found the light at the end of this tunnel. Yep.
The Browns are low-key lit right now, honestly. That team is in incredible shape, and the Chiefs better watch their back, honestly.
Yeah, shout out that GM who's born in like 1989. Good for you, dude. Love that. Hey, so real quick off topic. I was looking. I don't follow baseball that much anymore, but I was looking through the Giants media guide. I'm looking. Farhan Zaidi is their president. Their general manager is a guy named Scott Harris. Okay, this dude went to college with me. He was in Phi Psi. I was in Sigma Nu. He was just one of the dudes that he'd be kicking it.
And he's talking about
he was the general manager of the Giants. Dude, my age, who was in Phi Psi UC, like, whoa, dude, I know this guy. Now, he was definitely straight edge and he was smart but like, yeah, dude, general manager of the Giants. My age, like, wow, man. Hey, good job, Scott. You did it. You did that.
That's why when I look at my age and people are like, Sean McVay's this age, I'm like, damn it, man. Why did I? Well, I mean, I don't know.
How did I blow this? Yeah.
Right.
How did I blow life so hard?
I obviously can't be an NFL coach, and you're underestimating how hard that is. But goodness gracious, I thought I should have probably maybe set myself up for something like that. Tried to be. If Sean McVay at 34, there's so many young guys in this league. It's so crazy. When I hear a coach get hired and he's younger than I am, oh man,
it ruins my day. Just ruins my day. Teron Lewis says it's honestly pretty embarrassing that fans are freaking after a few practices in less than 1 month after the draft. Got to give Lance some time. Look. Yeah. I'm not a faithful, all right? I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not a coach. I do think Trey Lance was the right pick at 3. I wouldn't have traded up to 3. But once they got there, I've campaigned for it. I thought that was the right pick at 3 for a lot of reasons. It's not my job to cheer him along, though. I'm just trying to accurately describe what I see and then ask all the relevant questions. But as you can hear, neither of us are really drawing any big conclusions other than that trade up to 3 was a little rich and probably something that no other team in the league would have done. But that's what makes Kyle Shanahan cool, man. He doesn't care. He'll do exactly what he thinks is best.
And because of the narrative around Kyle never having his guy. So now it's like, okay, if Kyle wants to do this, then go ahead and trust it. But again, if it was Matt Nagy, if it was Urban Meyer or something like that who made that sort of trade up, you'd be saying, good God, what an idiot.
An idiot.
But Kyle has earned that because he's so respected around the league and the narrative around him saying that he's never had his own guy. I think that's what affords him all that.
We're going to be in a pickle if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl.
That's not a pickle.
That's the good kind of pickle, man.
That's not a pickle. How is that a pickle? I mean,
so you're rooting against that?
No, I'm not rooting against that. If the 49ers win a Super Bowl, excellent. Great.
Everything's okay as long as they win a Super Bowl. If they win a Super Bowl, we got a big problem on our hands, man.
Oh,
as long as we don't win the Super Bowl this upcoming season, things will be fine.
Imagine if they won the Super Bowl. What a pickle. Yeah, they'd be having a parade and the drought would be over. I don't care who does it. Mitch Wisnowski could be on the center. Who cares? Get it done.
Get it done. Man, okay. I'm gonna take this one in a totally different direction.
Oh, here we go.
And this to me is interesting. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo has become interesting all of a sudden, man.
Yes.
I think he's changed. And I'm not gonna say how yet. I want what's your impression? I think this is Jimmy 2.0. What do you see from him?
We talked about it on when you jumped on my show. He's angry. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm tired of the whole, throw a pick, get to the sideline. Yeah, whatever. No. Be upset. You're a guy. So when you listen to his press conference, I'm here to do what I do, and that's win games. That's him telling you, how dare you try to replace me? How dare you try to get rid of somebody who's won 25, 26, whatever, how many games it is. Good. Be upset. I don't want you to sit there and say, I'm going to mentor Trey along, and I'm just going to get out of the way. No. And when he said,
I'm here to win.
Right. When he said, hopefully I play well enough to wreck their plans. Good. Chaos. That's what we want. Where's the chaos? And that's what so Jimmy is the master of saying a whole lot of nothing in these press conferences. A whole lot of nothing. It answers the question, but you said nothing. For me, the body language and certain things that he repeated were more telling than those generic PR rehearsed answers that he was giving the entire time.
I actually feel like for the first time in his life, he has something to say. Like I actually think he had things to say in that interview a couple of days ago. He kept saying, I'm going to do what I do, which is win games. I've never heard him talk like that before. For 4 years, all I heard him say was, man, that defense is really well coached. They fly around. They're fast. We're just here with the guys. We really like it. He just said the same nothing for 4 years. And it was like, I almost tuned him out. Like, dude, stop. You're the most boring person in the world. You have nothing to say about anything. And I feel like I kind of held that against him. Now all of a sudden he has stuff to say. He has a perspective. He has a voice. He's a totally different person. He's all of a sudden extremely interesting. Interesting.
This quarterback situation is not just going to be the talk of 49ers world. This is the talk of the NFL world. And that's it. And Jimmy understands exactly what's going on. Jimmy understands that him playing well is him being able to continue to be a starting quarterback in this league, which has immense value. He understands everything in front of him. He seems like a guy who wants to play angry. Good. Don't be happy about that. Good. Everyone wanted this to spark your competitive juices. It sparked Tom Brady's. Are you like Brady in that way? Because when they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, he was upset. And what did he do? There was whispers about his contract, whispers about his decline. What did he do? He went out there and he worked harder than he ever worked in his life to dispel that. And they ended up moving Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, whether that's because he pressured them or not, but at the same time, he still took it the right way. Competition should bring out the best in people. If I have a job, no matter what it is that I do, and you bring somebody in and you say, I want you to train them because they're going to take your job, of course I'm going to be pissed. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my job better so you can look back and say, I don't know if we should even get rid of this guy. Good for Jimmy Garoppolo and a good problem for the 49ers to have, because if he plays well, they win games, and that's all that 49er fans should be worried about at this point.
Also, it's time for him to finally take control of the narrative of his life. He got drafted by the Patriots, and they're like, hey, man, you're the heir apparent. Just shut up. You're going to be the next Tom Brady. Just sit there, smile, be handsome, and play well, and shut up. Don't say anything. He's like, I got that. I can do that. And he was great at that. And then he came to the Niners, and they're like, hey, man, you played great for 5 games. We're going to give you $100 million. Just shut up and be the face of the franchise, and you're going to be set for life, and your career is going to be a fairy tale. And he's like, all right, man, my life has been a fairy tale. It really was. His life was a fairy tale from like 22 to 28. He went from being just a guy at a Division II school who had a good year to being the heir apparent to Tom Brady, to being the $100 million man who almost won a Super Bowl, to being thrown out of the freaking door. And everyone's saying, man, you're not good enough anymore. You're old. You're injury prone. You're done. And the Niners are saying, yeah, we've given up on you. Now it's all about Trey Lance. And now you're here to mentor Trey. You're here to be a bridge. And he finally came out and was like, you know what? I don't care what the Niners are saying. I don't care what their narrative is. The narrative here is, this is my team. I'm here to play. I'm going to win. I was like, wow, man, this guy has his own perspective. Oh my God. Look at him. It's like, I just met you. Wow.
Honestly, I'm rooting for Jimmy Garoppolo purely for chaos. If he
Hell
goes
yeah.
out there and all of a sudden takes a step from 2019 and becomes exactly who, the big Jimmy G apologists believe he can be, then what a story. How does this story play out? And how much more content will we have based off of this? And at the end of the day, the 49ers will win games. And that's what 49er fans should be excited about. No more worrying about the cap. No. It's not about banking on it. It's about rooting for something. I'm not banking on
absolutely.
it. I'm done spending money on stuff. I'm done banking on anything. I'm done with it, at this point. But Jimmy Garoppolo playing well not only gives us more to talk about, but it becomes so interesting and so compelling. It's literally a soap opera at this point. I loved what I heard from him in that press conference. Again, that could be all talk. That's fine. But he's saying all the right things, and that's all he's got to do right now at this point.
Right. I'm not saying he's going to be like more durable or that he's going to be better, but I just feel like this experience in his life has brought out a personality in him. And I'm so glad it has, because I like it. It's a very endearing personality. He's always had a coolness about him. People compare that to him. That's why he kind of gets the Joe Montana comparison.
The Joe Montana thing.
He's got the coolness, but it's like, dude, I always compare him to Derek Zoolander. I'm like, there's nothing there, man. Say something. And now it's like, okay, you're not Derek Zoolander anymore, man. I take it back. You're now Jimmy Garoppolo. You have just become Jimmy Garoppolo, man. Good for you.
One more thing that he does on the field that shows that he kind of thrives under adversity is after he throws those interceptions, he comes right back out and he's boom, boom, boom down the field. So that is good too. So maybe he works better under adversity. Maybe this is exactly the kick in the pants. Exactly. When the pressure's on, pressure makes diamonds, right? Pressure busts pipes and they make diamonds. So what are you going to make out of it? It's up to you, Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm glad he's already talking the right way.
Let me tell you something real quick. I keep trying to relate to Jimmy. I have nothing in common with Jimmy. He's much better looking, much richer than me. But look, I got the job at the PD young. Like he got the job at the Patriots young. I always thought I was going to be the heir apparent to my dad. I thought they would groom me. My dad would retire. I would get a full-time job as a columnist or as a Niner guy. I didn't get it. They said, Grant, we don't got it for you, man. We don't got it for you. And that was about at 29. And that could have been like, well, I don't see any path to a full-time job anywhere. Like Athletic doesn't want me. I've applied there a few times. Chronicle doesn't want me. I've applied there a few times. No one wants me. I'm out. Like I'm about to crap out. And then all this has happened since. So you never know what's going to happen until you get put in a situation like that. It might bring out the best in Jimmy Garoppolo. About the best in me.
I hope so too. And he's saying everything correct right now, honestly. Like I said, this is a great problem for the 49ers to have at this point. It's just here's the problem. Trey hasn't played. If Jimmy Garoppolo plays so well that Trey doesn't play another year, let's even say worst case scenario, 2 years as Jed York. So Jed York saying the 2 years thing, that's him covering his bases and covering himself, because if it does happen, he can always say, remember, well, I told you guys, he could be sitting for 2 years. The problem is, when does that get in the way of Trey Lance? And that's what makes it so interesting. Yeah. And that's what I think makes this so compelling.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be the best offseason ever. Jeremy says, nah, he's just 100% healthy and confident. Come on, man. How many came back from a knee injury like that and balled with McGlinch pretend blocking? I love when you get like a really serious comment and then the last 3 words just got that zinger for you. Yeah, pretend blocking is a good call. I don't know. It did take, I don't know. If he's finally over the knee thing and he can play like he did in 2017, then the Niners have the best problem ever on their hands. But they probably should have known that before they traded the whole future for Trey Lance. Did that? I don't know. It kind of feels like, I don't know, man. They could have just had Kellen Mond in round 3. It just, I don't know. Did I go away? Am I still here?
It was me, I think. It was me. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I think we've done enough speculation. Niner fans are not really appreciative of our. This is just a collegiate style workshop discussion. Don't get worked up. We still think Trey. Let's do this for the fans real quick. We think Trey Lance is going to be good. You say it, Jason.
I think he's going to be great.
I think he's going to be really good, guys. Don't worry. We're just having discussions here. If you don't feel emotionally ready, don't come back next time. I don't mean to kick you away. I'm just saying this is high level stuff. You need to be really emotionally secure to talk about stuff like this.
Honestly, it's just a discussion. You can't really overreact to, if Jimmy Garoppolo went out and lit up the world at OTAs and was like 30 for 30, let's just say, it doesn't mean that he's ready to tear the league up. In the same way that if Trey Lance throws an interception or throws a high pass, doesn't mean he's going to be bad, guys. Trey Lance is going to be fine. Don't overreact to week one, day one. No, honestly, he's going to be great. He's going to be great.
All right, that's our show. I really appreciate you guys humoring my constant comparison of myself to Jimmy Garoppolo, which is just laughable if you think
when
about it.
When you said that he's a little bit more handsome than you, I think you got to give yourself a little bit more credit, Grant. Just a little bit more, man.
Thanks, man. Earlier, Amin asked a question. I went past it, but he said, "Grant, can you grow a luscious beard like Jason?" No, I can't. I always stick with the stubble because it's a little splotchier. And then I got on my left side, there's a swirl. You know how most people have it like on the back of their neck somewhere? No, it's on my face. It's right on my face. So no beard for me. Not gonna happen.
The only reason that I was able to grow whatever this is that's called a beard is because the world ended basically, and there was no barber to go to. So by the time I got to my barber was like, "Do you want to just keep it?" I was like, "All right, I guess." I was like, "Can I?" And whatever. But here we are. So
I always looked forward to the day I could grow a beard, and then I started in college, and I was like, "What the hell is this? What the hell is that? Come on!" Waited 20 years to get a swirl on my face. All right, that's all right.
Oh my god,
the stubble works for me though.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
Hold on, one more, and then we gotta go.
Okay.
If you think Lance will be good, then discuss that. I'm telling you, man, people are so mad.
Why?
Hey,
but what did we say though? I don't understand. Like I don't think that we in any way talk bad about him, because how can you talk bad about him after just one day of OTAs? There's nothing to talk bad about. All the things we talked about are still going to be happening anyway. If he went out there, like I said, in day one of OTAs, and let's just say he ripped it up, that doesn't mean that any of that changes. That doesn't mean that the idea that maybe it was too much to move up to 3, that maybe he's going to be held up to Justin Fields and Mac. None of that changes. Yeah.
Love Grant, but this is where he starts to get whack, is practice. Okay. So for all the people who feel like that, and there's a lot, I love you. I'm going to go on Twitch at 3:00 and I'm going to screen share my YouTube comments. And I'm just going to go through them for about 45 minutes and read all of them. Because
don't read the bad ones about me. Don't read the bad ones about me.
A lot of people act like, "Hey, man, Grant, you have the best job in the world. I want to do what you do." All right, well, let's see. You should know what it's really like to suffer the slings and arrows on a daily basis that I do. No, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to be there at 3:00, hour 15. If you want to read my YouTube
checking
comments.
it out. Just don't read the ones about me, because
if it says Jason, I'll scroll past them.
People kill me in the comments, and then they kill me on Twitter as if like people. So people watch your show. And you'll throw a question out to me, and I'll answer it the correct way, and somebody on Twitter will be like, "You said," I was just like, I was like, "I never said that, dummy." Like that's my thing. It's like people.
And I didn't say it like that.
And not even that, but I never said, like you'll throw a hypothetical about Jimmy Garoppolo being traded, and I'll say, "No, that's not going to happen." Somebody will tweet me, "Jimmy Garoppolo was never going to be traded." That's literally what I said, jerk. Like, are you watching Are you watching? Or are you like listening? Like, Jesus, are you just mad at me? Yeah, are you just mad at me?
That's right. God, it hurts getting called a jerk, man. That's a tough one. Hey, so prepare yourself. Hour and 15. I'm gonna make you guys famous, man. You guys put in a lot of effort on those comments, and I want to give them the light of day, because not only me, I shouldn't be the only one who experiences the greatness that they are. Jason, thank you. You did a great job. You weren't prepared because I didn't prepare you, and you just every time it was like no problem.
Thank you, Grant. No, thank you, Grant, man. I mean, we do this. That's it. Like
we do this.
I'm sitting in the same room. Like someone said, I need to get a background because it seems like I'm doing this against my will. But this is what I do all the time. Like I'm sitting here.
Say something interesting, Jason.
Exactly, Jason. Say something nice about Trey Lance. I'm sorry.
All right, guys. That's the end of the show. Thank you. We'll be back next week.
Later.